Alright, so this glute workout is one that's Alright, so this glute workout is one that's been in my routine for a couple of months now, as building my glutes is a pretty big goal this year, and I've been loving it. I've also been going to a new gym recently, and I would describe it as pretty bougie. The lighting and the equipment are all really cool, and everyone is so nice, so I've been enjoying coming here a couple times a week. First things first, I always start out with some dynamic stretching. My knees and my hips aren't the best, so I like to warm them up. I start out with some side-to-side lunges to open up the hips and get my knees moving and warm up my joints. I also like to do some leg swings to just get everything moving, and my hips and lower back always feel so much better after this. And then finally, I like to do these deep squats, and then I go from the deep squat into a dynamic hamstring stretch. This whole dynamic routine just takes a few minutes, and it makes me feel so much better afterwards. Then the last thing I like to do is just some bodyweight lunges to further warm up, and typically after this, I feel pretty good and ready for the first exercise. I typically start out my glute workout with hip thrusts or glute bridges because, one, I hate them, and if I put them first, I'm much more likely to do them and give them some good intensity, and two, I like starting out with an exercise that works my glutes in the shortened position, which pretty much means that the most difficult part is when my glutes are squeezed and contracted. Glute bridges are also one of the best ways to isolate and target the glutes, and just one of the best exercises you can do for them. After glute bridges, I've been really loving doing step-ups in the Smith machine. I always like to include some single leg exercises in my routine because it helps with any imbalances you might have, and then also the glute medius benefits from any single leg work a little bit, and it helps with that rounded shelf look. My main tip for these would be not to use too high of a platform because you will actually take tension off your glutes at the bottom of the movement, and then also to not drop down on your back foot. Your non-working leg is just for stability, so go down slowly and try not to push off that back leg. I've also been loving some form of glute bias squat, and recently for me that's been this belt squat. You could also do a barbell squat, a Smith machine squat, or even a glute biased leg press, but whichever you choose to work the glutes, you just want to be a little bit more bent forward and limit the amount of knee flexion you have, which is pretty much how far your knees go over your toes. It's absolutely impossible to not use both your quads and your glutes during a squat movement, but you can adjust your form to prioritize one a little bit more than the other. The final exercise I like to do is some sort of kickback, and I like putting these at the end because typically I'm absolutely exhausted at this point, and these don't take a ton of energy to do. Not that we shouldn't still train them hard, but it just won't be as tiring as if I do like a squat or a hip thrust last. And honestly, for my weekly glute workout, that's pretty much it. I do hit glutes some during another leg day in the week, but for this workout, I'm doing about 3 working sets each, and this has me feeling great, and I've been seeing some really great progress. There's no crazy movements or supersets in this workout, just some good quality exercises, good form, and some high intensity, and that will have your glutes feeling pumped, and you will make all the gain. I've also been trying to do better with my ab training, so I like to do a little ab circuit after, since this isn't a super long workout. Today I did some in and outs, some scissor kicks, and then some planks, and I pretty much just do these to failure for 2 to 3 sets in a circuit, and these have my abs and my core feeling pretty sore.